Blue Barn is thrilled to bring you a sneak preview of the resident artists at work on our inaugural Big Damn Door Festival. 3 teams of artists have been creating together since January, developing 3 new plays for the American stage. Each project explores new ways of collaborating and creating community. Each project seeks to advance our progress toward equity, inclusion, and justice. 12 change-making artists, 3 transformative world premieres, and 4 really big damn doors. August 25th through September 4th, only at the BLUEBARN Theater. The ReIMAGINE team is exploring immigration at the intersection of LGBTQIA2s and Latinx identities in a community-engaged, ensemble-created process with Fragile Asylum, a new work set in South Omaha. Here's a look.
Hello, my name is Francisco Franco.
David Munoz.
I'm Jackson Newman.
I'm Tim Mansell.
And we are the ReIMAGINE team. So how the idea for the project came into being is that I'm a first-generation Mexican-American, and I've had family come over to the United States both legally and illegally. I also have family who is LGBTQIA. And knowing the hardships of how it is here for them being illegal and or LGBTQ or both, it's already disheartening. Also just seeing how they risk everything to come to a land where they can be themselves, but even when they're here, they are forced to hide that. In Mexico, it is very much a machismo and religious-driven culture. And in that culture, the LGBTQ are discriminated against heavily. I wanted to tell this story with the help of the community itself. And so we are also going into South Omaha and talking with the community, and especially with the organization PFLAG.
So we're gonna edit this, so I'm just gonna let it go, and we can, whenever you feel like you need a cut, we can stop, and then we can re-go again. Cool. All right, I'll just ask you a few questions from here just to help with the first one-on-one. So what is PFLAG?
PFLAG is Parents and Family of Lesbians and Gays, but it's not limited only to lesbian and gay. This organization has been serving the community since the 70s, and we help the needs of support of the families of the community. In a national level, we have this organization that organize all the chapters across the country. We are currently 400 chapters serving in the US, and this is all families making a change and making a better place for the community, for our own children. PFLAG Omaha has been interested in changing the minds and the hearts of the people in the Midwest. This is a very traditional state, and so we like to educate ourselves and also educate others in order to create a more inclusive space in this diverse community. Here in the Southwest, well, we have something that is closer to us. In the Southwest, we have a Latinx meeting, and this meeting is bilingual because of the needs of this community. We have a large population that comes from Central America, Latin America, and Mexico, and we speak Spanish. First and second generation immigrants are actually our audience, and we see and we share a lot of aspects that are typical to the culture, to the vision that we share, and also the food, the way that we celebrate and we communicate. for the families or the people who are third or fourth generation immigrants, well, is that opportunity to combine and to share that vision and educate each other, remembering what is important for us as immigrants, but also the other families who has experienced this country for more time, to give that opportunity to guide the rest of the families.
I am a first generation American, and I'm also identify as queer. I grew up in a household of immigrants, and being queer is taboo. Like most cultures, it's something that isn't easily accessible. And this project it allows for a dialogue to be received.
Here we do. We had this community who first immigrated to the States and then happened to have a loved one who is LGBTQ, and they have zero knowledge of information in terms of sexuality or gender identity or gender expression. So we begin from the very beginning, the basics, and we take it one step at a time.
Whenever I would go down to Mexico, I felt like I was a completely different person, because up here, I feel like I am an ally. I am supportive of the LGBTQ, but whenever I go down there, I sometimes feel that machismo, the religion, no lo puedo separar. I can't separate it, and I often am sometimes in some very, I would say, uncomfortable situations where it comes from cousins sometimes using some derogatory terms, but to them that is their language because they've used it all their life, and they don't see the hurt, because the people that they are hurting, their voices are not heard in Mexico as much. And when there is somebody who is proud to be transgender and they are out in the streets, they get bullied, they get harassed, they get told so many things.
In our culture, it's really common to not talk about sex, not talk about interaction, not talking about gender identity, and it's a very binary vision. I come from Colombia, where that culture is the same, we share the same vision all over the continent, only that we have a different accent. But it's the same Spanish, it's the same colony history that we came from and that shape our country. So that vision is general. But when I realize where that comes from, when I take responsibility of my part, only I can take the decision of changing. But what I do is I share that moment and I share that path with people. And when we are here, we're learning from each other. So instead of being this way of educating, is this way of educating us, learning together, walking together, listening to the new generations and what they have to say. And this is something very engraved into our culture. We don't listen to our children. And we had that very seriously inside of our minds, that children do not teach us anything. That the adult has all the knowledge and responsibility, and that's a very dangerous thought, because we're not that connected with what's going on today. They are.
Right.
But yet we are responsible to build a safe world for them, to help them to receive a new future. They're going to be responsible for us very soon.
Right. Everyone sees America as the land of the free. And when you come over here illegally and you are LGBTQ, being illegal is one factor, but also being LGBTQ brings on another factor. So it's weird being sort of a beacon for freedom, but when you're here, you're not really free. You are persecuted still. You don't have any rights. even if you were not illegal, not all LGBTQ people have rights. They can be kicked out, like you said. They can be discriminated against, because as we had our meeting today, as you pointed out, they are only protected under the Civil Rights Act that was brought back in 1964, which says that you cannot discriminate against sex, race, and nationality. But then you get into the topic of sex, and people have so many different ideas. But scientifically, what we know is that it is a spectrum.
And I always say, if you have the information, you have the power, and that is another aspect of the Latinx community. We don't get information very well. We're not good at that. Why? Because many times because of the language, many other times because we don't have that feeling of ownership. We know that we are immigrant, and we are so remembering on that every single day. We have a reminder: you're not legal, you weren't born here, you are in a place where you don't supposed to be. So when you hear that, any human being stop investing in that place. So yes, we contribute economically to this country and this system. We contribute. Our children are here, and one of the saddest things for the immigrant community is that we are raising children as illegal children, and those kids are born here. So we're raising these kids with that mentality. A little bit out of the subject of LGBTQ and a family, I asked a teenager, why you don't have your driver license? And they say, well, I don't need it, my parents don't have one. You were born here, you have access to it. I don't think I need it. Yes, you do.
Right.
So it's that mentality. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to inform ourselves.
That is why this project is, to me personally, a needed voice to be listened to, but also a needed voice to be heard in this country.
It's very common to be afraid of losing a relative or being found out, and it's those small little dialogues, those intertwined stories that are really kind of overlooked, and bringing two different perspectives, two different situations together really allows for the truth that this is a common thing happens, and allowing this production to give people something to relate to is just going to strengthen and help communities.